Hey everyone, I'm back with another plein air adventure on the coast because I really wanted to capture the beautiful summer colors that I love so much. This time I took my acrylic markers, so in this video I'll show you the process, talk about how I use them, and of course the struggles. So I hope you enjoy. So we are officially on our way to the coast. And as you probably saw in my recent art haul video, I got some acrylic markers, which I've been really wanting to try out outside. And so I'm a little nervous and it's probably gonna be a mess, but either way it's gonna be fun because I'm on the coast and I love painting and sketching on the coast. So that's what I'm gonna focus on. And the whole point in reviewing materials is to do it authentically, you know? Like I bought these specifically to paint outside, so I'm gonna go test them for the first time outside. So I hope you guys enjoy the journey and I'll see you on the coast. Wow, I've never seen the water this low. It's beautiful. See right down to those rocks in the water, and all the wildflowers are blooming. Oh, this is just so inspiring. So let's talk about acrylic markers. At the time of filming this, I had not been able to find any videos about how someone would use these to paint a landscape, let alone outside. So I was going into this experience kind of blind, armed only with the limited experience I had using them for the last week or so in my studio. Because the markers require high flow acrylics, the paint is quite runny, and in my unboxing and swatching video, you may have seen how messy these markers can be, not only while filling them, but also if they are stored horizontally, the paint will slowly seep out of the nib and pool up in the caps. Ever since I realized that, I've been storing them vertically, nibs up. I've been using them a little bit in the studio, and even if several days go by without opening them, the nibs are moist and the paint flows really easily. So only time will tell how long they're able to be stored vertically, but I'm hopeful. On one hand, the runny quality of the paint is a challenge, but in this video you'll see that it lends itself really well to layering quickly and mixing. So I don't know if you can hear me or if the wind will be too much, but I brought container for water, the markers, an extra tube of whites, a spray bottle, my little markers, palette knife, a paint roller for big stuff, along with my big flat brush, and a couple smaller brushes over here. So everything is self-contained and I won't leave a trace of anything behind. My bag tipped over in the car, so there's a little bit of a mess going on. I chose this view because I really wanted to capture a variety of coastal elements. Speaking of coastal elements, you might be able to hear some seagulls in the background of my recording. I apologize for that. So the sparkling water, the steep cliffs, the beach, and the beautiful heather and the grasses, they all just inspired me so much. When I started painting, I used the markers more like markers rather than brushes. Drawing with the markers is honestly such a joy. The paint flows really smoothly and most of the colors give full coverage, I think because of the high pigment load of this brand. And going into the session, I had no idea what to expect in terms of mixing, so I was definitely just winging it along the way. I started by getting down a very loose gesture of my composition, and then I began to very messily, and honestly I was a bit confused on how to do this, but I was trying to mix and layer on the canvas. So after this experience, I definitely have some insights and tips for you guys. First of all, don't worry too much about the nibs getting discolored. My yellow was immediately contaminated by the black, but I was able to wipe it off and pump more of the color out, and it came out really clean, so it really didn't seem to affect it. The paint comes out quickly and in pretty solid marks, and so it's not too goopy. And depending on the color and your environment, like if there's wind or sun, the paint stays wet for around 10 minutes, maybe more. And I tried blending with the markers on the actual canvas because I didn't take out my mixing tray straight away. It didn't really work because the nibs aren't flexible like a brush. So I started doing kind of a combination thing where I would draw and pump out some paint and then take a brush and blend it on the canvas. And the whole process started to become way more fun after that point. Some of you are probably wondering why not just use a mixing tray and tubes of paint since it's kind of similar. But for me, the whole point of having these markers was to be able to draw with them and make lots of really expressive marks. And honestly, it's all about the experience. So not conforming to the traditional ways of working really opened up my mind to new ideas and techniques for mark making. And this whole first layer felt like a chaotic experiment, and honestly, all I could see was a kindergarten painting. I just had to keep reminding myself that every painting has an ugly phase like this, and it's just necessary before building up to the final beauty. So as I painted this first layer, I was trying to visualize what my next layer would be. And ultimately, it really helped to get the general colors in place in this first layer. So my final thought about this whole process is to just have fun. It can feel really messy and chaotic and maybe even frustrating, but oh my gosh, if you just let go, it is so much fun. The fact that it was this perfect mix of drawing and painting really brought out the kid inside me who used to love doing crazy, fast crayon drawings, and I just felt this really intense freedom of expression. So as you saw, I was rushing and working really quickly to get that first layer down. And I was trying to use the markers more like markers rather than brushes this time. And I didn't have a mixing space, so that was a huge challenge because I had to mix on the canvas while it was all wet and splosh it and then try to like blend it to make it look good. And that didn't really work. So now I'm going to wait for this to dry, and the next layer I'm going to use more of a brush style and use my mixing tray, my palette, so that I can pre-mix some colors and then apply them. And I'm hoping it goes better because so far it's kind of a disaster. So as much fun as this process was, it was also very much a struggle. As I was painting, I had the markers lying down next to me, and I went to open this orange one and it sprayed everywhere. And I realized, oh, right, the caps will fill up with paint. So as I was going, I realized I'd have to carefully open each one so that the pooled up paint could come out easily. So I had abandoned all hope that the painting process would be smooth and easy. But after a little while of working in this more traditional way, I was finally back in my comfort zone, and I was able to really actually get into the flow, into the zone. And I was quickly moving back and forth between drawing and splashing and scraping with the palette knife and brushing, and the expression was coming more easily. So it was messy and chaotic and crazy, yes, but it was also like a free-flowing way of creation, and I absolutely love that. So it took a little while to get used to the process, but now that I've done it once, I am definitely really excited to do it again. And so if you end up trying this for yourself, just know that it may take a couple times of going out there and getting real messy before it becomes comfortable. Well, that was surprisingly fun. I knew I wanted to paint that spot, but it was super gusty and uncomfortable. I just had to paint it. And that first layer, it was pretty awful. I was like, okay, this isn't gonna be good. But I actually really liked the painting in the end. And because I was painting quickly, I was working very intuitively and just going off my instincts, like painting before I think, almost. Painting before the thought even goes through my mind of what color to use or whatever. I just like grab colors, mix colors, paint colors. And I love that feeling. It's such a rush. Whenever I do that, I feel like I'm putting more of my inner self into the painting in a way. Something that it just comes from a different place than when I have like all the time in the world in the studio and there's no wind in my face. And it was definitely a challenge with lighting today because the sun was constantly going behind clouds and coming back out. But the fact that it was very sunny and windy actually helped because it made the paint dry really fast, which meant that I could layer quickly, and that's exactly what I like to do. I may see if the gallery I work with in Glasgow wants to hang it up. Otherwise, I'm gonna hang it on my wall and be able to remember this beautiful day. And I may even add prints to my Etsy shop. If I do, there will be a link in the description. I hope you guys had fun coming along this journey. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because that really helps my channel. And if you want to see more painting videos, make sure you subscribe before you go. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you again soon. Bye.